welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Rob St. John, and this is my top 8 match from the Kingslayer tournament that was held at Gen Con 2015. I'm here with my wife Melanie. Say hi, Melanie.
Hey guys.
We're basically going to do a voiceover on this video. I get it requested a lot, but for this match, since I was playing and I was a little tired and it was a long day, Throne Runner, my metamate, who has his own YouTube channel, which you should check out for 2.0 videos, he recorded this game with his GoPro. He just didn't have his proper mounting equipment, so he had the plastic enclosed waterproof casing. So the sound was really not great, and we couldn't really hear what we were saying, what was going on. So I couldn't post the video like that, so I decided we were going to do a voiceover for it and give you a little story behind the tournament and a little overview of the game to entertain you while you watch. So yeah, just want to say a shout out to my Canadian metamates, the people I went down to Gen Con with for playing Thrones with me. And us all practicing for the 2 days before the Kingslayer definitely helped in the tournament a bit. I wish I had more time with each of the houses, so I would have known, what type of Lannister cards I was going to face here, but I was a little blind. I also want to thank Will at the White Book podcast for sticking around after the tournament to run the top 16 and gather prizes for it, because this tournament... Actually, Fantasy Flight made it only 6 rounds of Swiss. It was an introductory tournament with special deck building rules where you basically had to take 2 houses from a single core set, jam all their 20 cards from each house together, which is 40 cards, and then at least 10 of the neutral cards. So usually you're going to grab, your 6 economy locations and grab 4 other neutral cards, usually a little finger, whatnot, is what I heard most people are doing, or 2, and, an attachment or 2 or an event, whatnot. But yeah, basically for my deck, I decided to jam together Martell and Tyrell. And the neat thing was you could, during the tournament, between games, as long as it didn't affect the next round, you could actually switch out your factions you're using, switch out your plots, and even switch out neutrals. So you basically could completely change your deck 100% between rounds as long as it didn't delay the start of the next game. So I actually started the day with Martell and Lannister. I'm a huge Martell fan, as you could see by the mat there, which I bought at the Fantasy Flight booth, which was a surprise there that they were carrying these. They didn't announce them ahead of time, only at their in-flight report the next day, so a bunch of us grabbed them. So yeah, I originally started with Lannister for the day, but I just didn't feel great using the cards, and I was like, Tyrell seems good support. That's what I was practicing with before the tournament, but last minute I decided on Lannister, but I knew I could change it. So after the very first game, which didn't go too well, I decided to switch to Tyrell for the rest of the day and pretty much kept the 2 houses the exact same for every match after, and I only kept adding in more neutrals. So by the time the Kingslayer started, Will had announced that we were going to switch up the deck building rules a little bit, where you could basically change up your deck before the top 16 started, but after that just keep it the same. And that was to keep things flowing fast so we could get the top 16 over, because it was a really long day. Fantasy Flight, like I said, had 6 rounds of Swiss, and during those 6 rounds of Swiss, there was no break. We had to keep playing, and the day before in Joust for 1.0, we actually had a break for lunch, and I believe they took a break before the top 16 started, which is normal most years. You get a couple breaks during the tournament for food, but this one, there was no break. And it started at 11 a.m., so most of us had just eaten breakfast and came there and expected a lunch break sometime in the afternoon, and it never came. So me and my wife Melanie and our friend Kyle and Justin and Shamar, we all came down together, and we just kept playing it out. We just kept going game after game and never ate. So by the time the top 16 started, we pretty much had to get going right away. So I was playing on this pretty empty stomach, and we're all pretty tired. So that'll lead into me apologizing for any mistakes and goofy plays you see here. But yeah, so we basically took our deck the way it was and played through the top 16. So throughout the day, my deck got up to, started out at a 52 card deck, I think, and by the end it was a 55 or 56 card deck, because I just kept seeing neutrals that people were playing, like the Iron Throne, or I felt like I needed Varys in my deck, so I would add them in throughout the tournament, and then I liked Varys so much, I added in a second, probably around the 4th round of the day, and I just kept beefing up the amount of cards in my deck. Not really caring how it would affect it. I was just trying to have fun with Martell, who everyone told me would suck for the day. But it was a house I had the most experience with, and I really liked the playstyle in 2.0, so I wanted to see how far I could take them and just prove all the haters wrong. intrigue is still good. Yeah. So, yeah, Kenny, my opponent here, is a Netrunner player who Throne Runner knows, and he's supposedly really good. And we saw him the night before playing with a friend late in the hall, still trying to figure out the cards in the game, and let us know he's playing the next day. He's a very nice guy, and yeah, he made it all the way to top 8 here to play me, and I was a little shocked because Netrunner people, yeah, you guys do all that math and crazy business in your head, and I'm not good with that stuff. So I was a little worried that he was gonna, you know, figure out this very new game, and you know, Netrunner's a little more complicated, I feel, and I feel he was gonna use that to his advantage and really figure things out fast, which he did, obviously. But super nice guy. Glad to face him, and yeah. So here we're at. We got sneak attack on the left there against Storm of Swords on the right. You know, it looks like I got a lot of guys out. He's got Jorah Mormont over there, who's a really good character, 2 for 4. But his downside is he puts a poison token on him, or whatever it's called. Sacrifice token, I don't remember, but after he gets 3 of those tokens on him after winning challenges, he discards himself. So I'm assuming I'm going military here. And I'm doing that with Knight of Flowers. I believe that's right, because right's looking left on the card and left's looking right, which I think is kind of funny because I guess it's from the Queen of Thorns perspective in the art. But and the last one there is a Sand Snake character. I think it's Obara Sand, who has an ability. She can defend power challenges even while kneeling, which is nice.
Did you ever have the left and right combo going during any of your games?
I got it once during the tournament, maybe like the 3rd or 4th round, and it didn't last long. I think a wildfire came after, and I chose them to.
It's a pretty good combo, though.
Yeah, it's a nice little wall combo. Stops a lot of unopposed. If you can defend with them, they basically left and right when they're out together give each other +1, and one gives the other an intrigue icon, and the other gives the other power icon. And they don't kneel to defend, so they're a great wall for military, and yeah, they can just help you add some extra strength into the other challenges. And I like to go second a lot with my Martell deck, do the locations that, you know, raise claim and the events that cancel challenge initiation when you lose and that kind of stuff. So going second with left and right is great because you can use them as defense, and then they don't kneel if you get them both together, and then you come back with you know, them standing, and you can smack the opponent around a little bit. So a little bit about the prizes that Will from the White Book podcast, which you should definitely check out if you're getting into this game, you're new to the game, even if you've been around for a while. You might know them as the 2C, 1C, or 2 Champs and a Chump guys. They basically renamed their podcast. They've been around a long time. So they're focusing on 2.0 with the White Book, and you can see the house card in the bottom right there we got for making the top 16. And then I think the top 8 we got a set of power tokens, and the top 4 they were giving out custom gold tokens, and the final 2 players got some custom deck boxes by some of the vendor. I believe it's a vendor at Gen Con. Dogmite. Yeah, they make, I forget the name exactly, sorry. If I can figure it out, I'll put it in the comments below, or the description. But they made custom wooden deck boxes for the top 2 guys, and then there was a custom mat given from the Dockside Brothel guys over in Europe to give to the champion. So thanks, Will, for getting those prizes together. Some really cool stuff. And yeah.
So the Bear and the Maiden Fair that you just played there, did you have good luck with that at all?
I never really saw it a lot, and I had it done to me a lot in the tournament. And I put it in the deck. Well, the advantage of it, I thought, originally on the day was use it to call my own deck.
Yeah.
Because you only have one of every character. It's only a single core set, so you have one ofs a lot in your deck. And, you know, I feel in this kind of environment with the single core set, it's he who gets out as big dudes and or good locations and attachments, which are all one ofs, he who gets the most of that out on the board and keeps it on the board can usually hold things down and win. So I looked at it as a way, you know, if I pulled up the next 5 cards off my deck and saw some economy or a character I could afford or something that just worked with what I had and what I was needed, I could put that on the top of my deck, because you only have to put up to 3 on the bottom of your deck and the other 2 on the top, but you could put them all on the top in any order you want. So I looked at it as a way to, like, you know, make my next 2 rounds great. But then I ran into an opponent, actually 2 in a row I believe, who played it on me, and they kept doing it to my deck and taking my characters and my events and whatnot that I wanted to have and put it on the bottom, and basically stuck me with cards that didn't matter at the time. So I was getting really crappy draws after that. And then I you know, a light came down and I saw that the value was doing it to your opponent in this tournament. You can get rid of that annoying character if it's coming up, or get rid of economy that they're desperately needing, and you can see their next 5 cards. And, you know, you might see a couple Rose Roads coming and you're like, King's Road maybe, and they really need that, and you can just stick it on the bottom of the deck, you know, leave a couple expensive characters on the top even if you wanted, and really screw with them economy wise and slow them down. And sometimes I'd put, if I saw they didn't have many cards, I'd stick in stuff that I knew they couldn't play, so that I could hit them with intrigue and get it out. I was really focused on the intrigue challenges, trying to get that done for the day. Played a lot of Greyjoy on the day. Greyjoy was very popular.
It was.
I'm sure, Mel, you saw a lot of Greyjoy.
Yes.
And Lannister. Lannister and Tyrell and Greyjoy, I believe, are the most popular houses. And it was usually Greyjoy with someone else.
Yeah, I played Lannister Tyrell.
Yeah, how'd you find that? That's like a control-y, intrigue-y kind of combo, too, similar to Martell and Tyrell.
Yeah, it was good. I didn't do very well, but...
That's okay. At least you had fun, right? Did you have fun?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
And she stuck it out and played all her games, not like a lot of the people who dropped, which there were a lot of drops in the tournament. Yeah. But that's normal with Gen Con. There's a lot going on, and time is valuable. So many events, so many other distractions that, you know, if you're playing a bad deck or it's just not your day and you're not having fun and you're losing, yeah, there's no point in keep dragging it out. So FFG even has on their little tournament score slips after, you can just, you know, check a little box to say you're dropping, just to let them know ahead of time so they can pair the next rounds.
Well, I think with, what did they say, 240 something players?
Yeah, it was around 240. I heard a couple different numbers, 235, over 240. They had about 8 players at the beginning only that didn't pick up their core sets. Picked up their core sets but didn't play in the tournament. They just basically grabbed their core sets in their promo and ran. Yeah. Well, I want to talk here, actually, the plot I played there, Naval Superiority. There's a little story behind that. We were testing out... I was recording some of our test games. You can see those on the YouTube channel and see some of our test games. We had nothing to hide. We were playing the decks we were going to play at the tournament. We were just trying to get some videos up to show, you know, the world who's waiting to see the game, how it's played. But basically while I was recording, I spread out all the plots and we were kind of looking through them. And I think it was Mel brought up, she had heard, you know, take a second look at Naval Superiority. And we knew economy was trouble. And that's what we heard a lot. The gold curve is different. You need gold. Your big dudes are very powerful. It's a little backwards from 1.0, where armies used to be the kind of expensive thing and your main characters were like middle, you know, 4 or 5 cost. But in this game they flipped it, where armies are in the middle and your non-uniques are, you know, lower in the middle, and your main characters, you know, that the story's based around, they're your big 7, 6 costers. And you get those out and they have such amazing abilities and amazing stats, you need them to win, is how I feel. So I knew gold was big. And when I saw a 271 on Naval Superiority, I just didn't even read the ability. I just kept going on. I kind of looked at it, and it's kind of like Blockade from the first edition, which we both played for the last couple of years. So we're a little familiar with that kind of, you know, hitting your opponent's gold, suffering on resources. But in the first edition, there was tons and tons of resource locations at the point. The game has thousands of cards, thousands of options in first edition, so it was easy to get economy out, and hitting your gold on your plot didn't hurt as much. But in this game, a lot of the economy is limited, which only lets you put out 1 per round of a limited card, similar to other LCGs from Fantasy Flight. So your economy kind of trickles out if you see it in your locations. So gold on your plots really matters. So we ignored the 271, but Mel brought it up. We took another look at it and went, wait, if gold is so important, wouldn't it be awesome to turn off the gold on your opponent's plots? So we all basically started looking through our plot decks of the decks we're going to play, and we started realizing that Naval Superiority, which blanks the gold on a Kingdom or Edict traded plot, I didn't think it was that, you know, could hit that often, but we started looking through all of our plots and realized we all had edicts, we all had kingdom plots for our resources, and usually our first 2 or 3 plots we'd play in a game were all kingdoms and all edicts. We were begging for that money. Some of them were 9 gold, some are 6 gold, some are 7, you know, like they're up there. And we realized that, yeah, if you play this turn 1 or turn 2, depending on how your economy is going in your locations, you could really set the opponent back and keep cards in their hand. And I saw the value in that because I'm playing an intrigue deck. I'm worried about hitting your hand. Well, wouldn't that be awesome if you hadn't get out any of your big characters and that just left them in your hand with a probability of getting hit? So I looked at it as a great turn 1 or turn 2 plot to hit, but sometimes I would keep it later depending on how my economy was going. You never want to put it out first turn if you have 0 gold bonuses on your characters and locations, because then you're sitting there with 2 gold on naval superiority, and yeah, what are you going to do with 2 gold? Nothing. And if the other guy has, you know, King's Roads in his hand and he's able to get those out with, you know, the 1 Rose Road he has out, he can use that gold to get a King's Road out, maybe a character out, you're not looking too good. So I basically just made the call on, did I get gold bonuses out? If so, I'm going to add that to my 2. I should have 4. I look across at my opponent. Does he have any gold bonuses? If not, it was a must. I would drop naval superiority first or second round. And it was like a 97% hit every time. I think I missed it once in the whole tournament all day. And I basically switched it out after the first round. I put naval superiority in. I want to try it without it, just to see. And then I remember the first and second games, I just kept in my head the whole day, if I had naval superiority, would I have hit them if I played it now? And I just kept pretending that I was playing it, and I would have went, bang, I would have knocked out this many gold. Let's see what he plays. And, you know, every time I just thought, what would the board state look like if I played naval superiority right now? And by the third, I believe the third round, I had put it in, switched my plots around, and went for that route. And it was money all day. I hit people, threw them off, set them back, left good guys in their hands, good cards in their hands, and then I would hit them with intrigues. And yeah, it would just screw up people's plans. And the great part is, when you grab that Khal Drogo or you grab that Asha Greyjoy or Balon Greyjoy from their hand, you know it's their only one. So,
or like he just grabbed your Viper in the last
yeah
challenge.
Yeah, speaking of, like he just threw my Viper in my discard pile, which was always a uh-oh, what am I going to do for this game? But the cool part was that your decks have both houses matched together, ignoring the loyal restriction. So not only do you have your Viper, you know, and your Doran Martells in there, you got your Knight of Flowers and your Randall Tarleys and your Queen of Thorns. So you have big dudes from both houses that you have put together. So just because the Viper went away, it doesn't mean I can't come up with another strategy to close the game out with the big dudes from the other. And as you can see, the Knight of Flowers out there with Heartsbane on it, given a +3 strength boost, when I kneel Heartsbane, is definitely a big hitting combo. So I played Game of Thrones in the bottom left there. Some of you may not know what that is. Game of Thrones plot, you probably know what it is. It's the, you have to win, both players have to win an intrigue before they can do a power military. But that's actually the alternate art version that we got for playing in the playing in the Kingslayer tournament. They gave us one at the start of the day and then one when we made it to the 6th round of Swiss. So people who dropped only got one, but if you stuck it out, you got a second copy. Yeah.
The art's really nice too on that one. I like it.
Oh yeah, very nice art. And a great way to start the game, giving us basically one of my favorite plots from the core set. Giving us an alternate art means I'm going to be playing it a lot, and you're going to see that art a lot when you play against me.
Me as well with Lanny.
I just wish it's true. Any intrigue plot or any intrigue house on that side of the wheel there is like Tyrell, Martell, and Lannister. Yeah, you definitely a great plot to put in. I wish it wasn't plot deck limit 1 because I'd love to start the game off with 2 of those in a row and just sit back pretty, not worrying about military or power challenges. But yeah. So in my deck, I know I included 2 Little Fingers. I added a Varys in through the day and then added a second. I really like the idea of resetting the board with Varys. I missed it from 1.0, where the game was basically based around Valar Morghulis, which was a plot that wiped the board of all characters. So I always felt like if, you know, intrigue I'm hitting the hand, but if they keep getting guys out and flooding the board, and I'm not winning militaries, they out-military me, and I can't clear the board down with anything other than Wildfire, I might be in trouble. So I realized that, you know, halfway throughout the day and put a Varys in, and I would even search for him sometimes with my summons. Which I believe I do in this game, if I don't see him early. Because I like to put them out just to mess with the other opponent and really make them slow down with what they're putting on the board so that I have more intrigue targets. But yeah, I definitely played with it, and if it got out of control on the other side, where they got out so many uniques that I couldn't hit them with one of my 2 Milk of the Poppies and slow them down, I would definitely start thinking the Vari strategy and start planning on holding guys back in my hand, you know, getting ready for the post-Varies reset world, and get Varies out, and then end of dominance, you take Varies out of the game, and then you discard all characters in play. So, yeah. It's great because you discard all the characters on the board, and if they have more uniques out, you know, it's only one ofs in this Kingslayer environment, single core set, and you're probably not going to see most of them again. So you can kind of, you know, if you hit them with their Danny and their Caldro go out and you know, a tie win or whatnot, you know you're not going to really see the big boys again. You know, you'll start seeing the second tier only. So a few games on the day, I use Varies to get rid of like Asha, Balon, and Euron going, you know, about to go crazy on me and just rush for the win. With unopposed and stealth bonuses, but yeah, that's when I start scrambling for the Vardy strategy, or hope I get them early, and yeah, put them out of there, and as long as they can't get their targeted kill off to get them, you know, I'm good, and I can pop them out, and I start, as soon as I see him or I start thinking about it, I start putting out characters that I don't care if they get discarded, and I start trying to just hold on and play defensively until I can get them out, and then after the Varys listed discard, I start going offensive. That's how I was planning to do it on the day, and I started playing. It felt like a lot of 1.0 with the reset, playing around the reset. It was kind of nice. So definitely having 2 years of 1.0 experience definitely helped there.
I found that in this Kingslayer tournament, the Milk of the Poppy was a pretty important card. You just put Milk of the Poppy on Danny.
Yeah.
With having only one ofs of your big characters, I found that really helped control the ones that were the big beefy guys.
And what I did there, what we're actually questioning about there was I basically brought in Arrow Hota and bounced Danny out of the challenge. So as you saw, Game of Thrones, they need to win an intrigue, so he was going first. So I knew if he only put one character in on the intrigue, I would ambush in Arrow Hota, or bring him in with I don't know if I had Arion out, but I would use that all day and basically bring out Arrow Hota to bounce out the character out of the challenge, so now the intrigue's null and void, and then I would come back with my own intrigue. And the great part is the character's still kneeling, so when it's my turn to do an intrigue, you know, I have a better shot at getting it through, and then I can hammer you with the 2 other challenges. So he went in with Danny there, and who still has the Stormborn trait, because Milk of the Poppy does not take that away, and he was questioning whether Viserion, Rhaegal stands Danny after he wins, because she still has a Stormborn trait. But then I had to explain to him that I bounced Danny out of the challenge, so you did not win the challenge because it never happened, and yeah, you're not going to stand her because you didn't win. So, and she wasn't participating either because I bounced her out of the challenge. So we just had to explain that interaction to him. So that was the confusion. And here's Ser Jorah Mormont. I knew he was trouble, but looking at him ahead of the tournament, I read the card and went, okay, what's his weakness? I know I'm going to see him today. I assumed I'd see a lot of them. And I assumed Targaryen would be more popular than it was, but I think this was my first Targaryen match of the day, actually. And I knew his weakness, he has to put the token on when he wins a challenge, just wins, so it could be offense or defense. So I thought if I put the pressure on with Intrigue, and he has a 4 strength Intrigue, I would know I'd have to throw a few Intrigue challenges, because I want Ser Jorah winning on defense. I want him to be used on defense so his military icon of 4 or Intrigue icon of 4 doesn't come back and hit me with claim. Because if you're winning on defense, you're just blocking me. I'm not losing any guys. I'm not losing any power. You know, yeah, you're gaining renown, but I know that renown's temporary. So I knew if my opponent saw Jorah early, I could just keep putting on the pressure intrigue-wise, and, you know, if they're short on intrigue, they're going to use Jorah for defense. And I purposely would only put 4 strength or less in the challenge to bait them to kneel Jorah out and win, thinking, you know, the renown's great, but then that's a 4 strengther who's now knelt that I don't have to worry about on defense when I'm coming in for my next challenges.
Yeah, and at 2 cost and 4 strength, that's pretty
good. It's a great card, and yeah, I also didn't want to see him, you know, still have him standing, and then it's his turn to attack, and he's got this 4 strength intrigue on the board that I have to deal with. So I thought, hit him early, bait him to use Jorah early to get him off the table, and then I don't have to worry about him. Even though I knew Targaryen has a bit of recursion, but I didn't think it was that big a deal because you only have that, you know, 1 of each event, and it's mixed in, you know, with your other all 1 of. So I can't worry about seeing these events because you may not even draw them throughout the game. So if they happen, they happen.
Here's where your searcher.
Yeah, so I used summons, got Varys, just like I was talking about. You know, I see Danny out, I see 2 dragons. I know he's got Khal Drogo somewhere in there. And yeah, I was just worried about him getting the infamous, which was discussed before we were driving down the tournament, and we realized, you know, some people are talking about the preview articles, and we realized the Khal Drogo and Jaime Lannister combo, which is Khal Drogo. He just lets you do 2 military challenges when he's out. He doesn't have to be in them. He just lets you do 2. So that's trouble in this game because they clear your board and draw isn't the greatest. It's hard to keep it coming, right? So, and as you can see there, oh, he played the plot to get rid of an attachment, confiscation. So he got rid of the Milk of the Poppy off Danny. But what I was saying, I was worried about military. So Khal Drogo gives you 2 militaries, and then Jaime Lannister doesn't kneel to attack on military and gains renown during militaries he wins. So yeah, that can be a deadly little combo. They're both you know, 5 or 6 strength. So that's trouble once you get 2 of those on the board, and yeah, it's hard to deal with. Especially if they have a 2 claim plot out, you're in trouble. So.
Or if they're playing Storm of Swords, that lets them do another military challenge.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was out there right now. But yeah, he definitely has that plot in his deck, which I think we saw the first round or so. And yeah, so I searched Varys. I already had it in my mind. If he got, you know, oh, there's Khal Drogo there now. So he's got Khal out, he's got Danny out, and he's got 2 dragons. So he's building up like, you know, trouble basically.
An army. Yeah, army.
And the only way to get rid of all of them in one foul swoop is Varys. I already used up 1 Milk of the Poppy. You know, I could maybe get another one later. There, you know, there's 2 in my deck. I could hope to Milk the Poppy with the other one, but he's definitely not going to choose them as claim. He's got weenies out. He'll kill dragons before he kills those 2. So there I go. I jump right to Varys, put him right in play. Spend all my gold. You know, no questions asked. Don't care about anything else. Just get him out there. Praying he doesn't have any targeted kill. I see 2 gold across the table, and usually I would think, you know, put to the swords a possibility. So I just got to make sure I defend militaries and make sure they don't win by 5 or more strength, so that I don't get a targeted kill. But that was the risk of the day. I was worried. I didn't really see a lot to put to the sword happen. I always kept it in mind. I would always look for that 2 gold because that's my one weakness. I play with Tears of Lies, 2 of them in my deck, I believe, or 1. Maybe I can only play with 1 in this tournament. I forget how many in a core set. But I definitely put that in as my targeted kill, but I didn't see it a lot, but it was easy to get off because I just have to win an intrigue, and I can kill a character without an intrigue icon, so it's a great target kill for intrigue decks, and that's what I use to get rid of trouble characters or Milk of the Poppy, or, you know, sometimes you get Milk of the Poppies out and you play Wildfire and the person will just kill the character with Milk of the Poppy if they don't have attachment removal, so yeah. So
he's just counting your power right now.
Yeah, it looks like he wants to put Viserion in, who gives Danny stealth.
One of the things that I found the hardest playing Kingslayer coming from 1.0 is the reserve.
Oh yeah, I was catching that all day. I was trying to remember it, and I usually remembered it during taxation, but sometimes I would forget, and I'd realize right before I'm about to draw 2 cards. I always, in 1.0, would look across at my opponent's hand to see how many cards he has before he draws his 2, so I know, make sure he's only drawn 2. So I'd always look over, and that then would remind me about reserve. So usually as I reach for the 2 cards, if I forgot, I went, whoop, stop before you draw your 2 cards. Are we good on reserve? And I would double check the last plot and make sure it was good. So I may have only let it go once or twice per day where we both forgot, but most of the time I was catching it because the first couple of games of the day I was teaching brand new players who had just got a core set, never played 1.0, so they were more teaching games. So I really had to have that mentality of, you know, today's Kingslayer, there's some new players running around early in the tournament, so I got to remember all the rules myself and can't just assume my opponent will catch them too. So I really had to feel on my game, and I knew Kenny was pretty new to the game. So during this game, I was kind of watching and making sure I explained things that I had and what was going on and trying to understand the cards so that he knew how they worked because, you know, I want players to keep playing this game and I want to have more players to play. So I want to make sure everyone understood how the game worked and there was no, you know, no misunderstandings.
Yeah, because timing is a little bit different now than in 1.0.
Yep. Yeah, it's very, very hard to get used to the reactions to winning the challenge. So in the old game, you'd win a challenge, claim happened first, and then, you know, you'd react after with responses and your keywords and all that. But in this game, it's as soon as you count up the win, so you count up your strength and you find out who wins, right there you can then start reacting. So in an intrigue challenge, you know, once someone wins or loses, you then can start playing out of your hand events based on that. So it's before the claim happens of losing a card in your hand. So in the old game, you'd have some response and you're nervous, hoping they don't grab that reaction before you get to use it, which would happen a lot.
Yeah.
And you feel very defeated. But in this game, you know, if you have something that's, you know, after you lose an intrigue, you can play it, you know, do what you need to do, and then the person will take their card. So it feels nicer. It feels like the cards have more value that way. And, you know, you can get them off more. So losing and winning challenges, actions, definitely are a little more valuable in this game because you can get them off before a claim even happens. And then after keywords happen, so sometimes, you know, your characters won't be in play when they get their renown. So in the old game, they would be in a moribund state, which left them on the board, and you can collect renown and win the game before cleaning up your guys who had died for claim. So right there, we're having a little confusion. I didn't know what the card did, which you played earlier, was an event that brought that guy into play. And then at the end of the challenges phase, it goes back to his hand.
No, he just stood him.
Oh, yeah, sorry. He stood him. Sorry, this is a different one. Yeah, this one stands a character, so he stood him to do another military, and then at the end of the challenge phase, he'll go back to his hand, which I was a little surprised and annoyed by that he did that, which was a great move on his part because Varys is coming, and he knew it. So he was like, I need to save Khal Drogo best I can. So, and he used him as much as he could, but I didn't understand why he was trying to go so heavy military, knowing that I might reset the board, because the more characters I lose for a military claim, the more I'm going to want to reset the board. So yeah, I don't know why I went so hard there, but maybe he's just trying to get some unopposed power and try to, you know, put the pressure on. And here he's asking me about he forgot Dany's insight. So a couple challenges ago, he used Dany and forgot to draw a card for insight, and I think he realized I was about to do an intrigue on him. And he had 2 cards left, and he did not want to lose one of them, which you'll see in a minute. So he started to realize, crap, I forgot Insight, and if I drew a card, it'd be a 1 in 3 chance instead. So, but Insight, Renown, in this game, you may draw them. They're optional, and we're in the top 8. I didn't let him take it back. I said, sorry, Kenny, like, you forgot to do it. I don't have to remind you. It's optional. You didn't do it. And there I go. I get Treachery. Treachery's a huge Lannister event. You pay a gold, which he had 2 gold, and you can cancel a character ability, attachment ability, or location ability, which he could have canceled my Varys. So I would remove Varys from the game, and he would have canceled the effects, so I would have lost Varys, and the board would have stayed the same. But thankfully, I intrigued it out of his hand, a 1 in 2 chance there, and yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, that was a good pull for sure.
Yeah, that was game. I didn't even realize the effect at the time. I didn't even know what that event did when I pulled that out of his hand.
Yeah, once you drop Varys, because I played Lanny, I was thinking, uh-oh, if he has this, you're in big trouble here.
Mm-hmm. And Mel loves that event, and we've been playing recently, and she has 3 copies in her Lannister deck, and yeah.
And the reason that it stuck in my head was because it actually happened to me during the Kingslayer tournament.
Oh, man.
So losing Varys with the stealth, just because they canceled it and paid 1 gold, is pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah, and you paid $6 for Varys too, and he just gets thrown away the trash.
And you think I might have a chance here? Nope.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty good pull for sure for you.
So here we have no characters on the board. I choose to play Wildfire, which doesn't do anything, and I'm assuming I was going for the gold in the initiative, just to try to go first and get some economy maybe. And I didn't. I only had 2 other plots left after that, so maybe I was already thinking ahead that I didn't want to pin it, and there was going to be no use in the next couple rounds for it. So I just went with the higher gold to try to get characters back on the board, which is usually, in the first game after Valor, you want to play a high gold plot to kind of get the board going again and try to rush after that to be more offensive. Thankfully, it was a 7 initiative, and he played a 3-4-2 there, the Winds of Winter, which, thankfully I got to go first. And I had Edric Dane in hand, as you can see on the board, which is 2 costs. He has stealth. I can pay a gold to give him any icon, and going first, that's huge. And I'm debating what else to play. I got 4 gold. I know I need to keep a gold to definitely give him at least 1 icon, unless I have a way to stand him like Seal of the Hand, because he is a lord.
And it's hard for you going first. You don't know what he's going to play.
Yeah, I started thinking about that. I was really all about going second the whole tournament and just seeing what my opponent did and just playing, just enough to stay in the game kind of thing until I needed to push through with the Viper at the end. So I stick on Dawn, which is basically gives +1 for each plot in my use pile. So at this point I have 4 of them in my use pile, so he's +4, so he's 5 strength. And because you attach it to a House Dane traded character, he gains Intimidate. So I thought, this is a perfect little combo. I'm going first, so I can stealth, and if I win the challenge, assuming he's only going to get out a couple characters, a couple small guys, I should be able to stealth one, he'll kill one, and then I can do Intimidate at the end of the challenges after claim and just kneel the other one out. So I thought this was my best chance. Worst case, it's a swing and a miss. He's defensive. I don't get a military through or whatnot, and then he just comes back and kills Edric. At least I'll get the attachment back and can put it out next round. I just want to cause him some trouble, so the best I could with my money. So putting out one character may have been stupid, and yeah, so I just want to see what I could do. And he gets out Khal Drogo, which I don't think he realized what was possible there with the stealth, but I explained it, and he understood what everything did. I explained Intimidate and how it all worked, and he still chose to put out Khal Drogo. I think he didn't really have many other options, and maybe he was hoping I wouldn't do military. But I stealth him out, 5 military stealth, so it goes unopposed, claim of 1. He has to kill Khal Drogo. And I remember him saying, good move, good move. And yeah, so it was definitely, I think it was more of a newish player mistake. Or maybe he just didn't want me to hit his hand and lose Khal Drogo, so he thought maybe he had a better shot being on the table. I'm not sure what, but that was it. That was a pretty big mistake, knowing Edric has stealth and I have some gold, so.
Yeah, maybe just didn't realize the stealth.
Yeah. So they were about to flip. So I'm playing Calling the Banners. I'm kind of laughing about it. People are laughing because the opponent has no characters, and Calling the Banners is you get an extra gold when revealed for each character on the opponent's side. So yeah, I just wildfired. It didn't hit anybody, and I'm about to call in the Banners that I'm going to get 0 off of. But I didn't want to pin it, and I knew he could probably get out a bunch of characters. They're all cheap, little military guys. Maybe he'll draw a couple. At least that way I can get some high gold later, after we get to the next plots, because I realize we're only sitting at what 5 to 7 right now, so I knew the game's still fairly early, even though we're in 6th plot right now. I knew it was a slow grind, so I just got to kind of keep hanging in the game and get ready for that point where I draw the perfect storm, and then try to put all the proper cards in play to push for the win. But he's coming at me with a 5-11-2 sneak attack where he only gets to do 1 challenge. But yeah, I believe he chose to go first.
I found that plot to be a good plot, especially in a game really without any kind of valor or a reset other than berries. I mean, you can collect quite a bit of gold in some games.
Oh yeah, and what I liked about that one, why I played Calling the Banners, was because of the naval superiority. So I found out of all the kingdoms that get blanked and you lose gold, at least that one you'd gain gold if they're up on you. It's a good comeback plot. Because some of the other ones, when you put down 9-3-1 and they blank the goal on that, you have a restriction on the plot. You can't marshal attachments, events, or locations during the round. You can't play any of that stuff, only characters. So it hits hard when they take away that 9 gold. But when you play this one, they'll only take away 3 gold, and sometimes they have 4, 5, 6 characters out on the other side, and it lets you get 4, 5, 6 gold plus your bonuses. And you can play whatever you need to play, so it's not a complete shutdown. So that's what I chose as my economy plot. Because, even right now, just getting 3 gold off of it is still decent. It's better than 2. But yeah, it would have been nice to have the 9-3-1 right now, knowing I wasn't going to get hit by naval superiority, but it was money throughout the tournament. There was many games where I got hit with naval superiority on it, and I was still collecting, 6 gold, and they were like shaking their head. They were shaking their head. Like yeah, it was great. So not only did I play the naval superiority strategy, I was ready for it to be played against me. I thought about it the whole day, and people were trying it, so it was definitely something that was played a lot. And definitely naval superiority was the defining plot of that tournament for me. It was the one that changed most games, I feel. There was a lot of talk about it. People were realizing it throughout the day and throwing it in their decks or teching against it. I noticed a lot of people changed from opening with high gold kingdom and edicts and started playing that 5-11-2 to start. I did it. I would play 5-11-2 to start just because it was a war plot and I could get 5 gold off it, and it can't be hit by naval superiority, so I made sure I had some money.
Yeah, because I found too, when we were first testing, a lot of times we would start with Noble Cause reducing the Lord or Lady, and they hit that, and you're just in big trouble.
So 5-0-1, you lose 5 gold, and you only have 2 reduced off of Lord and Lady. Well, your Lord and Ladies are usually 6 gold, and you're not going to have many locations out yet, so you might have 1 gold.
Yeah.
1 gold, reduce Lord and Lady by 2. The only Lord and Lady I know you can play like that is, Edric Dane, who's on the board right now, who's a 2 cost.
Yeah.
Not many cheap Lords or Ladies out in the game, so that's a definite bad first turn move sometimes.
Yeah.
To play that, it's risky.
Then you're also leaving that Lord or Lady in your hand, possible for intrigue.
I guess Marjorie there is a lady for $3 also, so that's you can still get her out. But
yeah,
I mean, she's not changing the game at all really at the start. You want someone better, but so here, what he did, he played an event, I believe, and shuffled Khal Drogo back into his deck, realizing the game's going to go on a little longer. Maybe he can get Khal Drogo back, and I was stressing because Khal Drogo I know could wreck my face. I don't have much military in my deck, except for in the Tyrells there's a little bit, but yeah.
This is a good play for your...
Yeah, so I
discard his only character.
Yeah, I had to play March to the Wall here. Yeah, I just felt to play it, get rid of his only character. And yeah, it would hit me, but...
What was your last plot? You didn't really have any other choice. But... And
also his one character had economy too, so in my mind I'm still trying to hit economy. So he plays the Game of Thrones. Forces me to win on intrigue. I think I chose him to go first with my 8th initiative. And yeah, I just discarded Edric Dane thinking the Dawn attachment, it's +1 for each plot in my use pile. We just cycled through plots, which is now he's +0. So Dawn's not doing anything on the board for me. Edric Dane's only 1 strength. I should have kept him out probably for the stealth, but then I got to keep gold to keep him going.
And in this situation, Marjorie's a better character as well.
Yeah, I just thought I didn't want to get rid of Marjorie. She could buff up if I get something else going. She could just buff up and help me push through challenges more. She already has 2 icons and 3 strength to start, so I thought get rid of Edric. He's done his work. He did an amazing job. He killed Khal Drogo. He earned his time and vacation, so I sent him away. And threw Dawn back in my hand he used later when it actually mattered.
I believe too, Marjorie, can't you kneel her and give someone +3?
Oh, there I go. Milk of the Poppy on Cersei. She doesn't get her 2 claim intrigues off. Thank the Lord. Yeah. Which I just started sweating where, okay, what's going on now? He's all about military. Military is what I'm worried about. It's what he's getting on the board. And suddenly he plays Game of Thrones and now he has a big intrigue player. Like, what? I started to stress. I went, really? Now it's going to be that game? So, yeah, definitely keeping out Marjorie was a good idea. 3 strength already. So Milk of the Poppy, Cersei. I don't have to worry about 2 claim intrigue on my hand. But I still, in my mind, he can win an intrigue. He's going first. Doesn't look good. But that's all he played. So I know Marjorie can come back and win an intrigue right after, but yeah. So I threw out Paxter Red Wine, who reduces the cost of the first event you play, and he's +1 gold. So it's going to help me get some more resources out, which I felt I was struggling a little bit throughout the game. Because I always looked over and saw he had, plus gold and 3 reducers, and I was kind of struggling with only a gold and a reducer for most of the time. But yeah.
Especially knowing he has no military on the board, but he does have 2 gold, can ambush. You kind of feel safe that your income's going to stay till next round.
That is true. So here he is. He wins the intrigue. I let it go. I look at my hand and I say, yeah, take a card. I don't care. I want to come back and hit you harder. I need to get more power. I'm sitting at 7 still. We're pretty even, and I need to push, because if he can start building his board back up, I'm in trouble. Yeah. I got 4 cards in hand. I don't know what they are. I don't know what's going on, so I push back through an intrigue to win so that I can do my next challenge. I get out his Hands of Judgment, which is an event you can pay a gold, or you can pay gold equal to the event just played that you're trying to cancel, and you can cancel an event with it.
It's another pretty good card.
Yeah, I didn't put it in my deck for the day. I didn't think cancel was that big of a deal.
Well, only having 1-offs of events, I mean...
Yeah, true. I just thought there was neutral cards that were better. Like, I threw an Iron Throne in my deck, Just threw in an extra neutral because I saw Iron Throne was definitely, if you get it early on setup, which some people did in games of mine, it could earn you 5 or 6, 7 power throughout the game, and it was blowing my mind. Blowing my mind that this little 2-cost location just sat on the board and ordered you 5 or 6 power in a game that has barely any renowns, with a single core set environment.
I found that these games were slow as well, with not as many 2-claim plots. And
Yep. The game's kind of crawled. It always went to time every round. There was always tons of games still going at the end of time. There were some that finished fast, but yeah, it was a long day because every round went to time, and even later.
As well, in the beginning, a lot of people were playing with their rulebooks open. A lot of the newer players, try and check on timing and rules. So.
Yeah, just because the action windows are a little different. There's no pre-plot, pre-draw, pre-taxation, or I mean pre-dominance kind of action windows where you can mess around with.
So it looks like you got him again with Naval Superiority, which...
Yeah, Naval Superiority. I hit his edict confiscation, so he only got 1 gold off his Rose Road there. So that's, prime example. Naval Superiority, man, running the game, keeping it going in my favor. So there I go. Yes. I get House-Dane Knight out, who's House-Dane traded, obviously, and put Dawn on him, so he gets intimidated just like Edric had. Hopefully I get to use it now. But yeah, so he's +1 strength now for the 1 plot in my use pile. I love in this game how attachments, they feel so much more valuable. They're a little expensive, some of them aren't, but I love the way they can go back to your hand. So you can play little games of on Wildfire, you purposely kill a character just so you get the attachment back, keep it safe and put it on a new guy later, or play March to the Wall, and you can get Heartsbane early, put it on a weenie, give him +3 strength, but then eventually just kill that weenie for some reason, or March to the Wall that weenie, and then you get Heartsbane back, for later when you're about to play your Randall Tarley out, and you can throw it on him, the real combo that's meant to happen later game, and then strike for the win. I love that. I love that manipulation of just bouncing attachments around and just putting them into play when they're needed and taking them out when they're not. I love it. I love that part of this game. A little game within the game. So I'm going for a military here with I believe left and House-Dane Knight of 3 strength +2. That's 5. So yeah, I kill his only character there, and Cersei Lannister is now dead, thankfully. And then I get out his attachment ambushing sword, which is Widow's Wail. Yes, Widow's Wail, sorry. I don't really play with the Lannisters, so I'm not really familiar with all the cards. But Mel, you should be helping me out here.
Oh, sorry.
Jumping in when I forget a card name. That's your job. You're the Lannister pro. That's why you're on this video. No, just joking. So we flip. He flips Wildfire here to try to take me down to 3 characters, and I go for the 5/11/2. I wanted to go first. I'm at 14 power. 14 power. I need 1 for the win.
Yeah, he has no.
Let's see what he draws.
So.
I'm sure he'll cancel out. And yeah. Let's see. Starts looking at the board. I have 1 of every icon, so I know as long as I can push through 1 challenge unopposed, I'm getting a bonus power. And he shakes. And yeah, he did. He only had one little character there, so it's not enough. All right, guys. I want to thank you for watching. Thanks, Mel, for coming on here with me. And yeah, so I won. I get to move on to the top 4. You can see that match on my channel. So go check that out. You can see our other matches. Check out Throne Runner, who recorded this video for me and sent me the file. And listen to the White Book and Beyond the Wall podcast for your Game of Thrones news. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.